Nice to see you.
Hey.
Yeah, guys. But Allison, she's a really cool individual, really great soul, and she's helped me a lot this campaign with my social media. She took my following from I want to say 2,200 to now over 5,000, and she really helped my profile efficiency. And I'm really feeling good about the social media presence that I've had, and it's a lot because of her. And she's a really cool person, and she's gracing us with her time. So I got some of my staff hopping on here too, Allison, because we all love you here in the dark horse. But yeah, go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for that great introduction. Just a quick background on me as well. I've been with the company for about 14 years now, and I started in the internet field support office, and now I am in the digital strategy world, so social media, with Mike Monroe, Joel Konsinski. So that is my space right now. Like Mr. Foreman said, I've kind of been working with him, and also a lot of other divisions as well have kind of been hopping on this. So I've been doing a lot of profile audits. So what I'm going to do today for you guys is kind of give a brief general overview. So that way, after this call, I can kind of go through your personal profiles more specifically. So can I share my screen on here? Is that allowed? Yes. Okay. Let me do that real quick. And then it'll just be a little easier to explain. So for all inclusive purposes, we are going to look at Mr. Foreman's profile. So we're going to kind of go through an overview and talk about every little piece of the profile. And the reason we're doing this, guys, the reason we're kind of going through every piece of the profile is we want to build authority. We want to show power and influence. We wanted to attract your tribe. You guys are recruiting people, and those people basically want to emulate you in every aspect of your life. Let's be real about that. And they're going to look you up in every social platform they can to kind of see, does this person have it together? Do they actually know what they're doing? So this is why we're doing it. So we want to make sure we have that all together before you actually are going out and recruiting those people. So that's the main objective here. So we'll kind of go through it piece by piece. It won't take too long because I'm really just doing a general overview. Once I get down to the nitty gritty of each individual profile, it will be more specific. Again, Mike's done a great job here. So this is kind of, we're starting at the top here. So let's look at the username and the profile picture first. Those are two pretty easy things. So we have the username here, which is Michael.Foreman2. What are we looking at for username? We're looking at name recognition, right? We want to be able to know that the person we're looking at is the actual person. We don't want to have to guess, like, is this actually the manager? Like, is this the person I'm looking for? So we want to make sure we have name recognition there first off. So good to go there. For your profile picture, does it make you look powerful? Does it make you look approachable? Does it make you look authoritative? So we want to make sure that we have all those things. You don't just want to look powerful. You want to make sure you look friendly. So you want to have all of those things incorporated, but also Instagram only gives you that tiny little circle to work with, and you can't zoom in. So make sure that the picture you're using is a high quality, clear photo. Like this is great. This is a great image right here. You can see his face. He's smiling, friendly. Looks like he's got some awards here. Like I can clearly tell that. Like if I'm just going to his page, that makes sense to me. So this is a great image here. Try to stay away from photos with other people in it, because if someone's never met you before, they're not going to know who you are. So this is a great example of what to look for here. Let's move down to the bio, which is kind of the meat of everything. This is going to be what we like to say is your resume without being resume-ish. So this is going to tell everybody what you're about, whether it's work, family, hobbies, anything that you kind of want to brag about. Like if you are an author, if you're on like the board of anything like that, or anything about the company. So what we've got here is owner at Vector Marketing Park Ridge, and he's tagged the corporate account. So guys, this is huge. So they can just go right here, click on that, and it'll take them right to our corporate account where we have already had all the content created there. So it's kind of like doing the work for you. So they can go and do their own research. Boom, done. Then right here, he has a little cred to himself, leader of #3 Midwest sales team. Awesome. So he's already kind of bragging, being like, hey, like I'm good at what I do. So you want to have something in here saying, yes, this is what I do for a job and I'm good at it. So it's not being too braggy, but you want to actually say that you're good at what you do. And then here's some actual company credibility. #12 company to work for by USA Today. Huge. And then if you want to put a quote in there, if you have any kind of hobbies that you're passionate about, like definitely put that in there. You want to be relatable. You don't want to be one dimensional as far as like work. Like that's not very interesting either. So make sure that you are multidimensional, multifaceted, that you have kind of a little bit about every aspect of your life in there. And then this is kind of the main aspect down here is a clickable link, which is actually separate from your bio. There's a website section that you want to have that in to be clickable. And there's what we call a call to action. So letting people know what the link is about and why they should click it. So he has a little work. Oh, there we go. Didn't mean to click that, but he has a little work with me here, letting people know that when they click that, that's how they can apply. So you can pick whatever you want to say there. But the important part is just having some kind of call to action above there, letting people know why they should click it. All right. And if there's any questions as I go through this, please just let me know. I'll be happy to answer anything. I know this is kind of a lot and I'm kind of going through it quickly and broadly. All right, so let's move on to highlights and stories. So I've kind of found that with stories, there's people that either do it all the time and do it well, or people that just don't do it at all. So what I would recommend is if you don't do it, just start small, start slow. What we like to tell people is just document. Don't create things. People want to see realness, raw, just kind of like the everyday nitty gritty stuff. Like if you're going to the office, whatever you're doing, if you're meeting with your team, if you're doing a Zoom, like put that on there. Like that's real. Like people want to see the real stuff, the everyday stuff that you might think is kind of boring. And you're like, nobody cares about that. But people do care about that. So just start with something small. Doesn't have to be produced. So just remember that. Document, don't create. So that's stories. If you're not overly familiar with that, they're going to disappear in 24 hours anyway. But if you don't want them to disappear, like if you think it's super important, you want people to reference back to that, then make it a highlight. So you see down here, the lifestyle, impact, business. These are things that are going to live on your profile until you delete them. So, and you'll see that he has these awesome, what we call covers. So they're all cohesive. They look really nice, really sharp. And you can make them whatever you want. So that way they are true to you and your own personal style and brand. So you can pick different buckets. Like if you wanted to have a travel one, if you wanted to have one specific to just awards, you can have that too. If you wanted to have something specific to just team, like if you wanted to break like a business one down, you can layer that as much as you wanted to. I would just say, if you have a bunch of highlights, pick your top 4 and make sure that they are at the front, because if you're on a mobile phone, you're only going to see the top 4 before you have to slide past them. On the computer, it's a little different. You can see a bunch more. And with highlights as well, just make sure if it's something like family, travel, like stuff that you would add to, make sure that you are adding to it, that it doesn't say like, oh, 187 weeks ago, like this happened. Like you want to make sure that you're keeping it fresh, keeping it relevant if it's something like that. And you can have up to 100 slides in those. Wouldn't recommend having that many because people's attention span are super, super short. So just kind of keep those fresh and to the point. They're supposed to be highlights. So they're supposed to be like the best of the best. So that's your highlights and your stories. I think that's probably it with that. If you don't have any questions, I will move right on to the grid. So down here with the grid, you'll see all of the pictures here are top quality. I mean, it's not hard. I mean, look at that smile. Love seeing Mike's smile here. So make sure that you're remembering to just take high quality photos. Like if you're not sure, like if it's kind of blurry, you're like, oh, I don't know, like maybe just throw it in stories. So just remembering content of like stories versus what you actually post on your grid. And then just be consistent. So 4 days ago, awesome. Like he's got something in there 4 days ago. So I've seen some people that haven't posted for like 4 years. Like that was their most recent post. Like, so obviously we want to be relevant and consistent. So whatever that means for you. Some people, they can manage posting once a day. I don't think everybody can do that, but I would say whatever is consistent for you, then do that. I would say start out by doing once every other week, seeing if you can do that. If you want to do more than that, that's great. If not, like if that's too much for you and you can't keep up with that, then just see what is a good balance for you to start off with. But I do think that consistency is everything for Instagram. And
so you'd probably recommend just having them put it in their calendar, like, hey, this is what I do at this time on this day. It's probably the easiest.
Yes, I think having a plan as far as what you want to post is huge, because then you can kind of plan things out as far as like, okay, well, today I want to talk about business stuff, or today I want to talk about what happened in my life, or today I want to talk about, I don't know, travel stuff. So you can kind of have a plan as far as, well, I want to talk about these things, so let me just plan it out ahead of time. So you can come up with a system as far as that goes. And I can definitely help you guys in that area, and kind of break it down as far as what makes sense for you as an individual, because it's different for everyone. Like everyone has different things in their life that they want to post about. Like I know John Wasserman and Shayla Way, they do kind of like a rotating quote. So that way their grid actually looks like a quote unquote grid. Not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody can commit to doing that. So there's things like that you can take into consideration as far as aesthetic goes. So again, just be consistent. So think about what profiles you like engaging with, what you want to work for you. Like if that means a filter, like if you just want to put a filter on all your pictures, be consistent. And the other thing I'll say is value add copy. So that just means like anything that you post like with your picture. So just make sure that it has value to it, that it's keeping people coming back to your profile. So something like this is a really good example, how it's not just like one sentence, you know, like there's a lot of meat here to look at. So if you are going to plan out your content, this would be something really easy that you could do as well. That you're planning out what you're talking about, and keep an eye on your engagement with it as well. So like, this is kind of a good indicator as far as is your audience actually responding to what you're posting. So just keep an eye on that as well. And I think Mike does a really good job, obviously, of posting pictures of himself, which is what people want to see. Like they're following you to see you. So that doesn't mean that you can't sprinkle in other things, like as far as like a graphic or a quote or something like that, but just make sure that you are actually posting pictures of yourself, even if you think that feels kind of weird in the beginning. I know there's a lot of people that don't post any pictures of themselves. They just keep it like quotes or other things. But people do want to see pictures of who they're following. So keep that in mind as well. So I think that is about it. Is there any questions as far as that goes?
I have a couple questions, Allison. Mike Monroe showed us like John Wasserman's and, again, Trey Ketchum's. He showed us their old and their new, which was pretty
drastic.
Yeah. And the types of backgrounds that they have. And then what I thought was really cool is like the quote in the middle and like how it kind of had like good eye. It was very eye catching, right?
Yeah. So this is what I was talking about with Wasserman, about how he kind of rotates a quote and then a picture. So this is just something aesthetically pleasing. So you would just have to pick and choose if you wanted to post a quote and then a picture and then a quote. So you would just have to be consistent with that.
And then like, I noticed the black, it's like kind of black and white on his screen. Is that, with the, I don't know if there's like a color scheme or something that adds value or of any kind.
Not necessarily. I mean, you can pick whatever color scheme you want. This really just goes into your personal brand that you want to go with. So again, consistency and picking what you want that makes sense for you, because everybody's going to gravitate towards what they like and what they want to do. So, I mean, for John, this is what he did for him. And he's been really consistent with it. So that works for him. Yeah, good questions.
Are you going to get into followings, or because I would have a question on that?
I'm not going to get into followings today, just because I feel like that's a lot longer of a topic.
Okay.
But I'd be more than happy to talk to people on like an individual basis about that, just because it's harder to talk about that without looking at people's specific profiles.
Was there something else that you wanted to talk about?
That was pretty much it. I was just going to go through like a general overview, and then I think I sent you a link, Greg, of a whole Google sheet that you can give me everybody's names and profiles, and then I can give them specified feedback to go through everything. So that's kind of the next step. That's it.
And I do know there's people that buy followings. I think, if you wanted to pull up, if you have Jacob, could you pull up yours?
Oh.
I don't know if you have Jacob's journey.
That one is fully organic.
Oh, that one is okay.
Yeah.
What? Oh yeah, that one's. But you have an office one, right?
Yeah, but we're not doing anything with that one yet.
Okay. Is there a benefit, Allison? Personal office, having two. I think that just creates a lot of extra work for most people that probably wouldn't do it. But what are your thoughts?
Right. I would say just try to stick to one account if you can. I know some people really like to have things separate. So it's really personal preference here. I know Jameson Jones wanted to have things separate, which is fine. If that's what you want to do, then have at it. I personally think it's a lot harder to manage them separately. And I think people like to see you as an individual doing like everything and not just being like separate. So, I mean, I would recommend just having it all as one, because then you're not going to two separate places having to do two separate things.
Okay. All right. And do you think, with sending you the Instagram handles, do you want just the DMs, or would you want any assist? Obviously,
Everyone, you can send me everyone. So I mean, like, if it's a football team, send me every string you got, like anyone.
Okay, we'll do that. All right, managers, I'm going to share this with you. So I'm going to have you guys all, when you get this, I'll make it so you guys can add people to it. And then it's Allison's the owner. So it will be shared with you momentarily.
Yes, so I just need someone to send me an email or text, whatever, when it's completely done. So that way, when all the handles are in there, I know, and then I can kind of get started on it as one.
Wow, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
we're going to throw a lot of Instagram handles at you, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. It's been so great talking to you guys and seeing all your faces. So this has been so great.
I got a quick question.
Yeah, Craig.
What do you use to make the highlight covers? Like what app?
So the highlight covers, that's a great question. You can use the Canva app. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's a free app. You can download that and you can create your covers in there. Great question.
That's how you make it uniform. They have it all the same.
Yeah, so you can go in there and just play with everything. They have like different colors and different like pictures and everything that you can play around with. And yeah, you can just do it all in there. Super easy.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Craig, that's also the app we use to make the training story posts, by the way. You can do everything.
Yeah.
Greg, do you want us having SMRAs on this doc as well?
I think even more important than assistants, almost. Yeah.
Yeah, put them all in there. There's a section on there too you can fill out too to let me know if they're a student, because that'll be helpful too.
Okay. Well, Allison, I want to say thank you for all the work you've been doing with this. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to, us making all of our profiles much better and taking it to another level. I remember Michael telling me, Michael, how many followings did you have? And then Allison gave you some tips, and now you're over 5,000 people following you.
Yeah. It was like 2,500 in May, and then been working since like June. So.
Yeah, and Michael had been building it over like 3 years to get to 2,500, and how he went from 2,500 to 5,000 in a short period of time after his conversations with you, Allison. I just see the value that you're creating. So thank you so much. I appreciate what you've been doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure to work with y'all.
Okay. All right. Have a great day. Thanks again.
Bye. You too.
So that was outstanding. Okay. And so I hope you guys took away some really good value from that. I'm going to stop the recording. Somehow I can't